Okay. Oh. Oh my god. The resolution was fine. It was on my end. I'm an idiot. Hmm. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Economy remains the top public policy priority. COVID-19 concerns decline again. That's good. People realize that's fucking bullshit. COVID's not real. Wait, I can't say that on YouTube. That was a joke. Am I going to get demonetized? I don't make any fucking money. It doesn't matter. Um, Strengthening the economy is number one. Strengthening the economy is number one. Sounds like people don't believe Joe Biden. He's telling us that the economy's healthy and shit. That's just not healthy. I don't think so. Economy's not healthy at all. Reducing healthcare costs. Yeah. I wonder what would do that. What could possibly reduce healthcare costs? Fucking Pfizer. People still worried about defending against terrorism. 60%. Reducing the influence of money in politics. It's not going to happen because the people who make the laws are the ones who are in politics. And the ones who are in politics are the ones who have the money in politics. They get the money in politics. So how are you going to reduce the influence of money in politics? Reducing the budget deficit. Yeah, I don't care about this stuff. Dealing with coronavirus outbreak. It's the lowest on this list. I don't know what's less, but only a quarter of people care. Dealing with challenges facing parents. The fuck? Grown ass man. Okay. So, as it is. Republicans care more about strengthening the economy than Democrats. That makes sense. It's always like that. Improving the job situation. That's that doesn't make any fucking sense. Look at that shit. So the Republicans were less in 2021, more in 2022, less in 2023. Okay, reducing the budget deficit. I guess I got nothing important to say. Yeah, look at that drop. Look at that big drop. Even the majority of Democrats now do not give a shit about the coronavirus outbreak. There's hope for you people yet. Holy crap. Improving the educational system. Wow. So between 2022 and 2023, 4% of Democrats decided that they think that the education system no longer needs improving. There might not be any hope for you yet, Democrats, at least those 4% of you. And then reducing crime is going up. The want to reduce crime is going up probably because crime is going up. 2020 wasn't too fun, was it? People didn't like seeing all those cities burned down, did they? People don't want to say it out loud. They didn't like that shit. I know. I didn't like it either. At least I admit it. Yeah, climate change, you know, I'm not going to say anything on climate change because I don't want to get demonetized from the $0 I make off of YouTube. That's too much here. Okay. Wait, when's this article? Oh, this is 2019. Yeah, Viktor Orban, everybody but Poland. Poland's the best friend of Hungary. At least they're still with the Hungarians. So I don't know if I trust those numbers. Yeah, the Ukrainians didn't trust Putin in 2019. The 11%, I don't know what they were thinking. Oh, so that's good. The younger generations give more value to internet freedom in Europe than the older generations do. That's good. Europe's, man, I got nothing to say. It's so fucking late. It's only 8 o'clock. Yeah, Eastern Europe doesn't like homosexuality as much as Western Europe, especially France. Wow. That's a lot. That's a high percentage. I don't know, guys. You're importing all these Muslims. And, I'm not saying anything bad about Muslims. They just happen to more commonly not agree with homosexuality and think it should be accepted. Russia and Ukraine both think that women's equality. Oh, well, okay. So it's all very important and somewhat important. Lithuania, Slovakia, Czech Republic. Yeah, Central Europe, Eastern Europe, lower. Yeah, I'm not going to get anything out of this. Okay, so this is interesting. So this is China. Often, especially in 2023, it's often that it's hard to find something that Americans agree on across political lines. But right here, it looks like China is one of it. So all it takes is for something to be a threat to our geopolitical position, and then we care. So Americans across both parties support promoting human rights in China, strengthening economic relations with China, even if it means not addressing human rights issues. 26%, and harming economic relations in China. 70% say yes. I wish that 70% of Americans want to promote human rights in China, even if it harms economic relations in China, but with China. But then you have things like the corporations like Nike and more. I just forget what other corporations did it that lobby the U.S. government to not put laws in place that do anything about what the Chinese are doing with human rights violations. But yeah, 72% of Republicans and 69% of Democrats. It's almost the exact same. And actually, oh, that's interesting. Okay, so look at this. So conservative Republicans are more likely than moderate or liberal Republicans to want to promote human rights in China. But for Democrats, it's the more liberal rather than conservative / moderates. I assume, wow, that's weird. They want it. So I don't know. The moderate Democrats are less likely. The moderate Democrats, those are really just if you're a moderate Democrat, you're a conservative, and whatever. But for whatever reason, a Republican conservative is somebody that wants to promote human rights. You know what? You see what I'm saying here? That's fucking weird. Yeah, and they even say that. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. So there are different reasons for why they want to do it. That's very interesting. Oops. So the limiting the limiting the power and influence of China is more of a big deal for Republicans than for Democrats, and promoting and defending human rights is more of a big deal for Democrats than Republicans. Means to an end. Those with more education more likely to say U.S. Afghanistan withdrawal was not handled well. Oh, this is Europe. Wait, why am I all the way down here? Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Must have most. Wait a minute, did I do that before? Did I skip over something? Oh, I did skip over this. Okay, so this right here is stuff from. This is stuff. Central and Eastern Europeans approve of shift to multi. So this is all about how Europeans feel since the fall of communism, and oh yeah. So one of them is a multi-party system. One of them is a market economy, and they ask both. So pretty much everybody except for Russia and Ukraine is a majority supportive of both of them, including Hungary. I mean, this is from 2019, so some things have changed. I wonder what Ukraine and Russia would say since then, and also Hungary, which has seen sort of a decline, and Poland, which has seen sort of a decline in democracy. But I mean, this one's really stark. This is 1991 to 2019. Just good influence. Large increase in people saying the standard of living has improved after 1989/1991 changes. Okay, so half these countries were asked 1989, and half these countries were asked in 1991 because they stopped. So some of these countries were asked about these changes when they stopped doing communism in 1989, some in 1991, and in the earlier years in the 90s, they were asked just how their standard of living has changed over the last year. So, it was rough at that point for all of them, because the one that was most okay was Germany, which was half already in the West. So all these other countries, I'm just gonna forget about Germany for this situation. The country that said that the changes over the last year were the best was Poland at only 14%. So there was an adjustment period where, things had to kind of figure themselves out. But now, a lot later, the majority of these countries think they were good. Russia, Bulgaria, and Ukraine. So Russia and Ukraine, which are basically the largest parts of the Soviet Union, I'm not surprised, especially given, this was from 2019, but it was still, the situation over there was not great even then. um, Bulgaria confuses me. I don't know what's going on in Bulgaria. Um, but life satisfaction has increased across Europe. Totally has. So, okay, for some reason they put Germany in Western Europe. I assume that's just so Czech Republic is in Central Europe, but Germany is in Western Europe. Okay, it's kind of like right there and the same culturally, but whatever. That's I think that's just prejudice, but yeah, all of them are up. Russia and Ukraine the least, Bulgaria the next, Lithuania, Hungary. Dissatisfaction with democracy. Greece is not satisfied because their democracy kind of sucks, which is weird since they sort of invented it, although their version of democracy wasn't really, what we were doing over here. Although we're a republic. We're not a democracy. That's a psyop. Bulgaria. Bulgaria is dissatisfied. Italy is dissatisfied. Hungary's 50% dissatisfied. I mean, you don't have one, Hungary. Kind of have one. Sweden and the Netherlands are satisfied, and Poland, Germany is satisfied. 2019 with Angela Merkel. I wonder how they feel about it now. I would love to see an updated one of these. Yeah, back then People had a lot of confidence. Angela Merkel. Yeah, I'd already went over these. Okay. Okay. So this is a survey from 2022. Poland has a hugely favorable view of the U.S. I assume that's because I assume Poland has a favorable view of the U.S. because we got a bunch of troops over there, making sure that they don't get invaded and run over by Russia again. Like I don't know how many times that's happened, but Jesus. So they're there, which is great. Sweden's got a positive view. I'm pretty sure this these fucking Europeans just change with whether it's a Democrat or a Republican president. Israel doesn't. Israel just stays positive since we fund them. South Korea usually stays positive. Malaysia being negative, that's a partly Chinese diaspora country, but I'm surprised it's that low. I think they're buddying up to China quite a bit. Singapore is a Chinese diaspora country. It doesn't surprise me that they're quite unfavorable. Australia, I don't care about the opinions of Australians. You guys have fucked your country up. You really proved that you were a penal colony because holy crap, you are scary. You took what you did to the indigenous people and you started doing it to your own people, motherfuckers. And I'm an American, so we did that shit too. But okay, lowest rating when countries had the most unfavorable view of the U.S. So most of these are in 2003 during the invasion of Iraq. Some of these, Poland and Israel, 2007 to 2009 would be like, oh, well, it hasn't changed very much, but 2009 would be like probably the invasion of Afghanistan. That's when Obama really pushed it up. 2007, I wonder if that is something I don't know what that would be. But yeah, this is all the invasion of Iraq, and UK is the only one that's here that's not the lowest. But the UK really was a supporter of the US invasion of Iraq, unfortunately. And see here, the lowest that they go generally the lowest the lowest that they go if they didn't get checked in 2003. I wonder why they didn't get checked in 2003 is 2020. And I assume that has something to do with the insurrection and all the shit that happened then that the Europeans don't like. But I don't care because I don't care about the opinions of Europeans. And especially don't care about the opinions of Israelis, but they like us. So whatever. Reliable partner. Greece, who gives a shit? You think we're a reliable partner? You're the least reliable partner in the world. Fuck that. No. Okay, so Singapore says that we're a reliable partner, but they don't like us, I guess. Well, half of them like us. I wonder what that is. Probably because they like the money. So a lot of trust and good partners, 80-20 with this mix of countries. But these are Western countries and like the Asian first world. Singapore, Malaysia, Japan, South Korea. China's not on the list, but most say there's a strong partisan conflict in the U.S. Canada, very strong. Okay, Canada, maybe stop arresting your own people and taking away their bank accounts, and we can talk about the strong partisan conflict in the U.S. Sweden, yeah, I don't care. Fucking commies. Netherlands, all right. Go fucking sell some tulips, you wooden shoed fucks. You need to kick me off YouTube for this. Can I make fun of white people? You should be able to be prejudiced towards white people, right? They allow that, or they calling it a hate crime now? Well, they're right. There is a strong partisan conflict in the U.S. U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan generally seen as the right decision. Yeah. So Canada, half and half. Greece, Poland, France. Huh. I wonder why the UK and South Korea don't think that's a good decision. Was it handled well? The UK rightly realizes that was not handled well, and so does Canada. And the US. Yeah, the US and Canada is right neck and neck with that. And it seems like a few more percentage of Canadians just don't really have an opinion. So I guess they didn't hear about it. But yeah, no, it was not handled well. A third of Americans, you think that was handled well? You think that Taliban members executing civilians means it's handled well? It wasn't handled well. It was not good. Really not good. Those with more education more likely to say U.S. Afghanistan withdrawal was not handled well. Yeah, I wonder why that is. In the U.S., people with more education. All different countries. Confidence ratings for Biden. Wow, Greece gets it. Greece and Italy and Spain. The Mediterranean gets it. They get Joe Biden. It's ridiculous. Yeah, Poland. This comes out of Poland getting a lot of help for the Ukraine. That's great. Canada. This comes out of 61% are confident in Barack Obama or Joe Biden. That's because they are mostly, unfortunately, a country of people who allowed another country's monarch on their money forever. I wonder if they have the king on the monarch now. 'Cause they're not really a real country. I mean, number one, Canada only exists because we let it, and number two, you guys have another monarch, another country's monarch on your money. So what does that mean? The fuck does that mean? Let me see. Confidence in U.S. presidents, the lowest. George Bush and Donald Trump. Oh, Singapore. Well, they just started checking for Singapore, but yeah, it's low. Yeah, I mean, guys, like fucking Europeans. Look at this right here. I mean, they were so confident. The French are so confident in Barack Obama, over 80% for his whole entire time, even though like he was just murdering Afghani people this entire time. He bombed Doctors Without Borders, which is I thought it was a French organization. They didn't even talk about that. I guess. I mean, if they did, I assume they didn't, because I assume if they did talk about, the French would be like, "Oh, I don't like this man. He bombed our doctors." It's a terrible French accent. Nobody's watching anyway. Guys, he bombed Doctors Without Borders. Why the fuck do you like him? Israel doesn't like him. Okay. Trust in Biden down, especially amongst those who says the U.S. is not reliable. That makes sense. So the U.S. is seen more favorable than China. Makes sense. Oh, Greece. What the fuck is Greece doing? Greece is weird. I don't know what that is. Spain, Greece and Spain. Singapore, I mean, that this one makes sense because Singapore is a Chinese diaspora country. It's mostly made up of ethnic Chinese people. But Greece coming this close to half and half, the hell's the matter with you people? The sense that China does not respect human rights at or near historic highs in most places. You don't say. Really? China doesn't respect human rights. Of course it doesn't. Guess it took most people until 2021 to realize that. Holy crap. Oh, well, it's always been the majority of people, but, not like we do anything about it. Views of NATO are at all-time highs. Yeah, probably because they're, I don't know, bomb the Nord Stream pipeline, though. Okay, this one's really important. Low public trust in federal government has persisted for nearly 2 decades. So you look at this from 1960, it's at like 73% public trust in government, and it drops all the way down to 20% in today. And it only went a little bit lower in 2010. This is like financial crisis time, and we're just as low now. This is not normal or sustainable. This is not at all. This right here, this is a functional country. This is nonsense. Only 1 in 5 people believe that this shit's actually working. That's not good for us. What does that mean? The majority of Americans say the federal government does too much for higher income people. I mean, they really do. It's hard to argue they don't. Blaming people based on their geographical location. So this is everything that has broad public support for the federal government doing. Keeping the country safe from terrorism. I see that. Managing the U.S. immigration system. That makes sense. All of these are over 50% major role. Food safety, responding to natural disasters. That makes sense. Ensuring access to healthcare, protecting the environment, setting fair and safe standards for workplace. I mean, the actual effect, like, it's not like OSHA really does a very good job, but I guess the government should be doing that, helping people get out of poverty. You're here. I'm trying to figure out how to do this stream, and I guess I didn't see um okay, so now I'm on YouTube, so now I can see you talking to me. Hi Phil. Okay. Prior to leak of Supreme Court's draft abortion opinion, Democrats expressed greater concern than Republicans that people's rights could vary by state. I don't know what's happened with that now. Sharp partisan divide on whether it is government's job to protect people from themselves. So the Democrats believe that laws to protect people from themselves are necessary. So the Democrats, the my body, my choice people, are the ones who think that the government should be saving us from ourselves, like Canada, right? Save us from ourselves, like Canada, by doing doctor assisted suicide with your freaking universal health care that's now killing people kind of against their will. Okay. Look at this shit. Trust in public government. 1960 with Eisenhower, 73%. It goes up to 77 under John, 60s. And it's all down fucking hill from here. Stayed like this. They're in Vietnam. They didn't know that it was all a racket yet. And then it just woo, and it doesn't come back. The public trust in government never came back after Vietnam. The 80s, when everything was doing kind of okay, that worked. And I think people realized under H.W. Bush and Clinton, he was doing some economic stuff that might have seemed like it was doing an okay job, but the effects of that would then be seen here. And, right here, it peaks in 2001. I mean, if you could illustrate how the terrorist attacks on 9/11 really did destroy America, it could be right here. Is that the public trust in government peaks right around September 11th. This is October 6th. It's at 60%. This is a local high in this area. And ever since then, it just drops down. And I'm not saying that's because of 9/11, but it is because of the government's response to 9/11 and the Patriot Act and the shift in the media and the shift to authoritarianism. And right now, here we are back in 2022 with a 20% public trust in government. It's not going to work. It's not going to work forever. It's not good. It's just, it changes slightly for the party who's in control of the presidency, but even like 36% is the highest it's been in the last two presidents, for 36% at the end of Trump's term, and then freaking 36% at the beginning of Biden's term. This party ideology, yeah. And look, I mean, it doesn't even really make that much of a difference what race you are. They only did white and black for a while, but they were all always pretty similar. And now they started doing Hispanic in the 90s. Again, pretty similar. The Asians have the most trust in the government. They started out low. I assume that might have something to do with all the racism around the pandemic against Asians and the Asian stuff, but now it's going up. Culturally, a lot of Asian countries, a lot of Americans are East Asians. South Asians, not so much, but East Asians have a kind of huge deference to authority. And that comes from Chinese culture, which a lot of Korean culture is based on Chinese culture, scholarly culture there. Confucianism. Okay. So nearly half of Americans now say that single women raising children on their own is bad for society. And so it's rising. 2018 to 2021, single women raising children on their own. I think people are realizing, because they're seeing what it's doing to society and doing to people over time as it's become more common, that it really is a problem, single women raising children on their own. It's my opinion that, and I've gotten this from reading about a bunch of different cultures, that the family unit is the most important structure in in a society, frankly. And this is something that's recognized in the past in a lot of ways. I mean, I remember a quote. I don't remember it, but I don't remember the specific words, but it was a quote by a Prussian guy who was criticizing Hitler, and he was like, he doesn't build a nation, and the guy said it was oh God, Bismarck maybe. He was saying like, now we're just gonna look it up. Maybe it wasn't Bismarck. Maybe it was a different one. Wilhelm. It was fucking Wilhelm. Okay. He builds legions, but he doesn't build a nation. A nation is created by families, a religion, traditions. It is made up of the hearts of mothers, the wisdom of fathers, the joy and the exuberance of children. For a few months, I was inclined to believe in National Socialism. I thought of it as a necessary fever, and I was gratified to see that there were associated with it for a time some of the wisest and most outstanding Germans. But these, one by one, he has got rid of or even killed. He has left nothing but a bunch of shirted gangsters. This man could bring home victories to our people each year without bringing them either glory or danger. But of our Germany, which was a nation of poets and musicians, of artists and soldiers, he has made a nation of hysterics and hermits, engulfed in a mob and led by 1,000 liars or fanatics. That's how Kaiser Wilhelm felt about Hitler. Oh, and it starts with there's a man alone, without family, without children, without God. So this is, yeah, Kaiser Wilhelm said about Hitler, for the first time, I am ashamed to be a German. There's a man alone, without family, without children, without God. He builds legions, but he doesn't build a nation. A nation is created by families, a religion, traditions. It is made up of the hearts of mothers, the wisdom of fathers, the joy and the exuberance of children. And I love this quote because it really is about the culture behind a nation. And Kaiser Wilhelm seems to understand the culturally informed how a nation and a people through their culture, through their families, their family structure, through their religion, and what that religion does for them, and their traditions, and the hearts of mothers, literally women raising children. That is how the country creates itself, how the culture creates itself. Families, religion, traditions, the hearts of mothers, the wisdom of fathers, the joy and the exuberance of children. This is everything that goes into what makes a culture function. And I guess this happened after Kristallnacht, which was the time. Kristallnacht means Night of Broken Glass, where I think this one was specifically targeting Jews. The Nazis went in and attacked a lot of. So this was a month after Kristallnacht. So the first time after Kristallnacht, Kaiser Wilhelm said, "For the first time, I'm ashamed to be a German." In regard, yeah. Oh, I'm going to read what you wrote now, Phil. As you search a note on the father role model thing, I attended a PTO meeting, and a lot of the single mothers were talking about how they need a proper male role model. In classes, you can see the vast behavioral differences between the students who have a nuclear family-like environment versus single family. Yeah, I've started to see that a lot. One of my episodes I did was on the effect of having male role models in your like, not even just in your own household, like having a father, although that's very important, but being in a community that has men who are good role models. And actually, the what's crazy is that, like, yes, what I found, and I was surprised by this, Black men are more likely to go to prison than white men, but a white man who grows up without a father is more likely to go to prison than a black man who has a father, who grows up with a father. And that's pretty remarkable. And it shows how important that having a male role model is for pretty much anybody. Um, yeah, and it's unfortunate because the culture seems to be incentivized towards women not keeping men. I mean, men are disincentivized in divorce court because it's there's an incentive for a woman to get a divorce because she's treated better in the court system. She's able to get child support, and she's almost encouraged by the culture to leave men. And women are more likely to leave men than the opposite. And likely because they get treated better in divorce court and they're able to get more shit. But really, it honestly seems like it's better to not have divorce be as common. Sometimes it's obviously necessary, but it also maybe isn't good for it to be as accepted as it is. I think there's something there. Can I check who's here? I'm watching this. Is there anyone else here besides? No, it's just me and you, Phil. Okay, sweet. Um, okay, I'm gonna end this and I'm gonna start another live stream because I'm just gonna play some fucking EU4.